Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts. And in today's video, we're going to be making this gift box or storage box. I've added optional feet and it has a detachable lid. The beauty of this style of box is that you can literally make it any size that you want. I'm starting with 2 card circles. I've cut these with my circle cutter and they're 8 inches in diameter. The sides of the box are curved and then you will need a flat edge for the top and the base. I'm going to use my ruler and apologies for the glare. I'm going to move my ruler along until the distance between the top and the bottom edges is 6 inches. And I've just made a pencil line from top to bottom. I'm going to score over the pencil line because I now want to repeat that on the other side. I can use the score line to make sure that my piece is sitting vertically and therefore my score lines will be parallel. So I'm going to repeat the process on the other side, make sure my score line is vertical, and in fact it is sitting in a track, so I'm going to go straight in with my score tool and score. I'm now going to cut away along the 2 score lines, and this is going to be the top and the bottom of the box. I'm going to line the score line up with the cutting track in the trimmer and remove the top and bottom portions. And now I can use the first piece, lay that on the full circle and trace around the outside edges with my pencil and use that as my guide. And then again line the pencil lines up with the track and cut off those pieces. For the sides and the base I've cut 3 pieces which are 3 inches in height, and they're actually the width of a sheet of A4, so it's just over 8 inches. The sides of my box are going to be 2 inches, and then this allows a 1/2 inch glue tab either side. I'm now going to calculate the strip I need for the sides using the strip. I'm going to line and curve the piece up and then mark with a pencil where it meets the bottom. The strip is just over 5 5/8, and then I'm going to add on another 1/2 inch for the glue tab. The base is 6 inches long, so I'll have a piece which is 6 by 3 inches. And then for the second side panel, which will be B, should be the same length as A, but I'm going to measure it and cut it independently. So again, curve the paper round, lining up the top edge, and then mark with a pencil the bottom edge, and then I will add on 1/2 inch. I'll cut the base piece down to 6 by 3. And then for the side panels, I'm going to line the pencil marks up with the cutting track. Although I don't have a score blade on my trimmer, I'm going to use my score tool and score through the cutting track, rotate my piece, and then move my score line along to 1/2 inch and cut. That's given me my glue tab. Repeat the process for B, lining the pencil up with the cutting track, use the score tool, and then move along 1/2 inch and cut. So that's given me my glue tabs. Go back to the base piece and along the 3 inch side score at 1/2 and 2.5, and repeat this on the 2 side panels. Fold and burnish all of the score lines. Take the 2 side pieces and cut away the bottom left and right hand corners. Take a wedge from the bottom glue tab and the ends of the side glue tabs and I'm going to take a very slight wedge from the top. Do that on both pieces, and then in order to fit the side section around the curve, I'm going to cut a series of teeth to each of the long side glue tabs. I'm going to use my quick grab glue, add that along all of the teeth. I'm going to start at the bottom edge and manipulate the side panel into place. And just to make life a little bit easier, before you add the glue, just add a curve using your score tool to the side panel. I'm pressing the teeth in from the inside, and when I've got that in shape, I'm going to go in with my score tool and just burnish down the teeth. Do that on the other side. Again, I'm going to start from the bottom because I can always trim the top edge if I need to. Now I can take my base piece, add glue along the long glue strip, sit that inside along the edge of the base. Once that's lined up, I can add my glue to the two small glue tabs on the side panels and glue those to the base. And I have managed to get a nice neat corner there. I'm going to just burnish those down, fold the tab up and the teeth in, and then take your second panel and adhere that on top. Take your time making sure you maneuver the side panels into place. And then I'm going to just go in with my score tool and burnish those down. Now, if after it's dried you find that you do have some overhang where the front or back panel overhangs the side panel, as you might just be able to see here, once that's fully dry, I'm just going to go in with my scissors and trim around that edge to neaten that up. So that's effectively the base of the gift box. It's got no rigidity, but by the time I've added my decorative paper, that will be very sturdy. And obviously what you can do, depending on what you're going to put in the box, is put an additional cardstock piece in the base. We're now going to make the lid, and my piece here is 6.5 by 2.5, and that's going to sit on the top and will slightly overhang the edge of the base. In order for the lid to sit in place, we're going to have a rim which is going to be attached to this piece and was going to sit inside the top edge of the base. For the inside lip of the lid, I've cut two strips which are the width of A4 by 1.25 inches. I'm going to score on each at 6 and 8, and all it will mean is we'll have a less than ½ inch glue tab, and along the short side I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. Fold and burnish along the score lines. Take your strip and within the small glue tab cut up the centre or the 1/2 inch score line and cut away the small left hand corner. So I've cut away that 1/2 inch section and just shape a 3/4 inch glue tab. Cut a wedge from the right hand end, cut up the next score line to the 3/4 inch horizontal and cut a wedge into each of the glue tabs. So do that on your second piece. Add glue to your small glue tab and join the pieces up to create one long strip. And it is important that you make sure the pieces do sit flush with each other. We want to make sure the rectangle is going to fit, so gently pinch the two ends together and just make sure that it sits in the top. And you do want it to be snug, but at the same time you want it to be able to get in and out. So mine is perfect at the back, slightly too long at the front, so I'm just going to snip the tiniest piece off the end, reshape the glue tab, and then double check. Square off the rectangle and make sure it sits in the top, which it does. So that's how the top of the lid is going to sit. I'm going to complete my rectangle, add glue to the final tab and make sure that sits squarely. And we want to make sure that the lid piece sits down, leaving a 1/4 inch gap all the way round on the lid piece. So I'm going to use my scoreboard on my ruler, line my ruler up with the 1/4 inch mark down the left hand side and make a pencil mark at 1/4 inch along the top. Move down to the bottom corner. Apologies for the glare. So I've got my ruler lined up 1/4 inch above the bottom edge of the card and make a pencil mark 1/4 inch along. Rotate and do the same. I've got 4 pencil marks, 1/4 inch in from each side, and to make life as easy as possible for myself, I'm going to join these up with a pencil. Take my rectangle. I'm going to use construction glue just to make sure I've got the wiggle room that I need. Add construction glue to the tabs and then use the pencil lines to sit the rectangle into place on top of the lid. And take your time to make sure that it does all sit squarely. And then I can just go in with my score tool and push the glue tabs down. So if we go back to the box, we should find that our lid sits in place, which it does. I'm going to decorate the outside of the box and I've got an idea for a handle and potentially some feet. So I'm going to get on with that and then I'll come back. Here's my finished decorated box. You can see I've added DSP onto all of the sides and the outside edges. I've added some to the inside of the lid and to the base. I've added some feet to the bottom because I'm going to use this as a storage box rather than a gift box. Ideally I would have liked some black wooden beads, but I didn't have any of those in my stash. So I've actually cut some 2cm polystyrene balls in half and coloured those with a StazOn ink pad and then adhered those to the bottom. I've then used a whole polystyrene ball and added that into the centre of the lid. And I think overall the box has got a very stylish look about it. And as I said at the beginning, if you've got the means to make a circle, you could use the concept of putting this together and make the box as small or as large as you want, and then as wide as you want. So it's actually a very versatile design. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And until next time, thanks for watching.